Okay, so we've gone into our minds and we've visualized this as 3D objects. And as you can already tell, this does have a disappearing point, but it's not on the page. Like if we tried to find this, you can see this is sloping down. So the horizon line is something like this, because we're seeing the bottom is kind of slopey this way. The middle is kind of like that, and then on top we're sloping this way. So eventually we could find somewhere that connects, but it would probably be way over here. So basically, we're going to use our knowledge. Basically, we know that there are disappearing points. Therefore, we're just going to assume that lines toward the bottom of the page generally slope up and away, and toward the top of the page generally slope down. And we're going to do our best to kind of estimate where they connect on both sides. Like on this side, there's going to be a disappearing point off that way and off that way. So it's about flat here at the top of the first story. So we'll just call that our horizon line. Let's drop that in. Horizon line. All right. Let's zoom in just a tiny bit more just to make sure we see everything. Might as well. Okay. Here we go. So we've got our shape. Let's just rough out a big old block, big old rectangular block. I'm going to figure out where we want it to start and stop. Basically copying this. Although we can change the angle a little, and we may end up changing the angle somewhat. I'm going to send this guy this way, and this guy about the same. Maybe like that. Okay, so now the top, I'm not going to use the same slope. I'm going to be coming down. I'm going to come down. So how tall are we feeling? It's not going to be perfectly proportioned. I think mine's actually a little thinner than this one. This is a little thinner. So therefore, I'll make it a little bit shorter. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go up here. Because really, this is actually just the box that it's inside. The roof, I'm not drawing the actual top of the roof. I'm drawing where the roof's going to be. All right, so if we think about what we did on the computer there, how we visualized it, there's a bottom story, a second story, and a third story. And the third story is definitely taller. I mean, when you go up to the peak, there's like 1, 2, 3, and the third one is like 1.5 the height, right? So therefore, this could be the bottom floor. We're actually gonna, is that simple, less simple or more simple? All right, we're gonna actually put an angle in here. I'm not gonna use the horizon line as the definition between points, between the first floor and second floor. I'm actually gonna take it out because it's a little confusing right there. But I know, as I head to my disappearing point, that's gonna be a very gentle slope. It's hardly gonna slope at all. All right, so we're gonna say that's the top of the first floor. You know, that corner is the same. This guy's heading this way, that guy's gonna head like that. I'm just guesstimating. So now, the second floor is about equal, and the third floor is about 1.5 times. So I'm gonna say about there. So, in the spot, considering that this is almost flat and this slopes down at that angle, this angle is going to be somewhere between the two, on its way to flat. Flat, bent, flat, yep, just kind of like that. And I'm sure if I trace those out, it wouldn't be perfect, but it's going to be close enough. Has that focus been changing on us? I can put it on manual focus. Let's do that. Manual focus. Nobody likes things going in and out of focus. Just have to set it to the right focus. Focus on these lines here. I have a monitor I'm looking at. All right, so same deal. Almost flat. That flat to here. Guesstimate in the middle. It's going to go like this. All right, so these guidelines will help us when we draw all the lines of this detail in here. All right, so what do we visualize? There's one box, and then one that overhangs it, and then the one that overhangs that even further. So we're going to say this is the farthest this comes out right here. So that means this second story is going to be set in. So here's one corner, right, kind of at the edge of that roof. So it goes, turns from light to dark, the light side and shadow side. So then the next corner, this is third story, second story, and then first story. So there's a little movement between each one. So I'm just gonna go rough. It's not gonna be exactly, but we know it steps in, so I'm stepping that in. And then this one steps in even further. So there's the front of story 1, front of story 2, front of story 3. All right, so now all these lines don't really exist here. That's just like, I don't know, the shadow that would project down from this guy. So this isn't the front of story 1 or story 2. I'm just gonna get rid of it for simplicity's sake. Although that corner is useful, we'll see why. All right, so the actual front, and guesstimating the same disappearing point, the angle doesn't change that much. It's going to be there. And this one, this corner, is not there. This corner is back here now. But still, it's pretty flat. Pretty much flat. Zoop. So, let's go into that. So this one steps in, this one steps in about the same amount. So let's go down. All right, there's the front of story 3, the front of story 2. Front of story 1 steps in about the same amount. There we go. All right. This no longer has any meaning. And that's a little sloppy. So what's going on here? Do we actually see the underside of that overhang? Well, let's test it out. Test it out. I think we do. I don't have a disappearing point to check with, but I have the imaginary one in my head. So technically, that would, as we know from our disappearing points, we see a little bit of the underside of that guy. Just that one. Okay. Then what else did we do on the computer? We carved this triangle shape in. Now you see, it's not a triangle that goes all the way to the bottom. There's some straight wall that goes up, and then it goes to a point. So we're going to go up a bit. I'm just going to pick a point, and I'm going to pick an equal point on the other side. Similar guideline. I'll just drop that guideline in there. So this point on this wall is that point on that wall, and they all go to the middle. And how do we find the middle? You remember how to find the middle. In fact, I'm going to leave it on here because we might need the middle for some details here. Corner, corner, oops, almost wrong corner. Doop-a-doop. There's the center. Sorry, I'm drawing that lightly. It might not show up real well on the camera, but you know how to do that. All right, now I drop a vertical here. Voop. And there we go. That's going to be the peak of our roof. And we could even, now that we're here, we could kind of change our minds. We could even exaggerate that. We're not bound to the top of this box. We're assuming that box is it, but while we're looking at it here, we could go up a little higher if we want. We're just going to get rid of all these lines anyway. So let's do that. Let's flex a bit and go up higher. It's because I like that eccentric peak sticking up there. There we go. Disregarding our initial box, all I really need to know is the ridge is that approximately that angle, which almost lines up with our guideline, which is just a crazy coincidence. Getting rid of that. Do. Although our bounding box, keeping this X, it would be useful to know horizontally the distance there. But that's the center, but no worries. All right, off we go. All right, so, but wait, that's not all. We've got to define the back end here. Well, we know this is a straight line. We're kind of looking, we're imagining with our minds underneath that overhang, because you see that kind of sticks out on overhang. So we're actually drawing the corner that's right behind that shingle there. So we match, it's just about match the angle for the bottom of story 3 and carry that to the back. So now we go from, we know where that intersects with the back wall, it goes up to the same ridge line. Get rid of our old Cornair. And for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to copy this. Actually, we're going to see this change anyway. Go G, stay paper, be good. Floop. Still only a guideline. It's not our final roof. Here we go. What's going on here? Everything fine? Does that stick out? It sticks out a little. This one sticks out a little over this side too. So the back of this wall, we'll call there. And the back of this wall, it's really hard to see, but there's an extra wall back here. It's kind of tricky. I know because I looked at other pictures of this, so kind of disregard this last wall. This is the actual corner that goes underneath here. So, well, that line's not very straight. We're going to actually bump that in because I happen to know that the second story overhangs on the back. It might appear otherwise. Or you can even creatively make choices like that. You can totally change around how it is. Okay, so you could put 2 windows instead of 1. You could put something else there. You could put some crazy stairs or a big hole in the wall where some monster just popped out. All right, speaking of popping out, we got this whole window shape. We also visualized, we know it's here. We're gonna say it's the center. So it's kind of hard to see, but this is the front. This is a rectangle, that's the front of that window. This is not the same level as that. This one is forward, just like this is forward from there. That is forward from here, but it's just tucked behind there. You'll see when we draw it in 3D. So this box projects outward, almost like making a little slice here and then pulling out. All right, so let's find the center of this wall because we want to center our window. Center. Center of the wall is right there. And that works for the center of this guy too, because it is. It is what it is. All right, and that line actually projects. If we're going to continue to draw in the center, it actually kind of goes along the roof too. Isn't that amazing? So it's like painting a line on our wall. We've got a 3D surface and we're just painting on it. All right, so that's just a guideline because this thing is popping out. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw it flat on this wall and then we're going to pull it forward. So we're going to approximate a thickness for it. So let's go half on this side, half on the other. So I'm going to draw it like here. And I don't like that. I think it should be a little bigger. I think it should be a little bigger because we're going to need room to draw the window and stuff, you know. All right, down. So now about the same. It gets a little smaller as it heads in the distance, but disappearing point's not that close, so pretty similar. This one I'm going to draw more lightly because I know it's going to be erased because the window's going to pop out. Actually, I should continue this line all the way up here because that's a flat wall that it's on also. Zoop. All right, so it's coming out. How far? About yay far. Not as far as half the width of this window. So I'm going to say it's about there. So it comes out to here. There's our actual front edge. And how do we find this line? Well, it's pretty much flat. Just like here, it's kind of hard to see. It just looks flat. So there's the bottom of that box. And the top, we'll do that even with where the roof comes into play. Even though it's hidden, we're using our X-ray vision and we're just pretending that this flat roof with all the shingles on it is just gone. It's invisible. We know it's sitting on top of something. And we know this is the corner of the structure underneath. So you know it's sitting on some surface like that. So we can see, if we flip this around, we would see this same underside there. So I'm ignoring that. I'm going all the way up. I'm going to figure out where this should hit about here, and that's where that it should intersect. So that's going to stop right at this kind of roof line here. And this is our disappearing point off the left. So we're going to approximately do that. Now we've got the top of our box. We got the side of our box. And guess what? This side bumps out about the same amount. So let's do a line here. And then the top of that connects. And that's still pretty horizontal. So that's just going to go like that. It's a little funky because there's not enough of an angle on it to really see dramatic change, but we know that's where that is. We're going to erase that back line because we don't see it anymore. This is even with Bomb Story. There's our center line, but it's hidden now. So we'll find a new center of our window box. Don't need you anymore, Center X. Thank you for playing. And this line is hidden also. That's covered up by a new shape. So, but what does it do? It has this triangle on the top. Well, speaking of center, all of a sudden we do need the center, don't we? Here's the front face of this pop-out window. Let's find the center. Zoop and schloop. Stay vertical to the center there. Here's our center line. So the peak of this window box thing is going to be centered on the center. I'm going to say it's about yay high. Now we just connect the dots. Connect that corner to that corner, this corner to that corner. And the top of this goes back until it joins into the roof. So let's join. Let's find an appropriate angle. I'm copying this guy. It's about, and where does it go? It actually touches the center line of where it would have been if it was stuck on this surface. Remember, we painted that center line. We painted this wall, and then we carried it up and painted it on the roof. Well, that's directly behind where the center of this new structure is. So that's where it would stick. So that answers your question of how do these two roofs intersect? Well, here's the corner of the top of the wall. There's the corner of where it would attach, and you just connect it with a line. That looks like a weird angle, but hey, it is what it is. And we're going to draw more roof on top of that, so all that's probably going to get covered up anyhow. But again, the farther I draw, the more we might find out that mine looks different than what we started with. Well, that's a lot of work, and we haven't even started drawing yet. What do you mean we haven't drawn yet? I mean that what I want to do is I want to freehand this, because all these like cobblestones are very loose and jaggedy and don't have to have straight lines. You don't have to use a ruler. These are all just our construction lines that are going to guide us to draw that. So do we have any other type of geometry that's popping out significantly? Well, we've got this balcony here, the doorway behind it, and we've got this other pop-out window, and we've got this roof structure coming out like that, and this roof projects as well. All right, so what's the first? Let's continue working on this. So one thing leads to another, right? We want this balcony centered on the door, and I feel like the door is centered in that wall. So let's draw guidelines of where the door is going to be. How do we find a center? We do another X. Like that. All right, now we've got the center of the second story. And the top of the door. Should we do the door frame or just the door? We'll do the door itself, and then we'll draw the frame around it. So approximately the same line, but it's kind of flattening out. I'm going to put it about there. And I'm just going to guesstimate the door at about this wide. This wide. There we go. And we've got this corner, so you can kind of count stuff. Like I need room for a rock, and I need room for this wood post beam here, and then the balcony starts, and it sticks out about yay, goes over there, and then it comes back again. We know, even though we can't see this, we know it comes back before this wood post. There's a post on the wall there, so that means the end of that balcony comes in that far. So the balcony sticks out about yay. We'll call this, I don't know, half to 3/4 of an inch. And we're gonna give ourselves some space here. Give space for that corner stone, then a wood beam, and then we're gonna say the balcony starts about there. And what we can do if we want to be real cute is project this line across, and that shows us where this line crosses that diagonal is where the far side of the balcony would cross that diagonal. So that's the far side of the balcony. I think we're good. Well, that's the outside edge. All right, again, we're in this flat kind of area, so our projection isn't going to come out too dramatically. It's going to be rather flat, and that goes to not quite the center of the door. There's a door there, and this white edge there is just before the center. So we'll do the same. We'll say that's the edge of the balcony. How high up does it go? It goes almost halfway up the wall, up to about there. So we get a little more angle on this, a little. And so similarly on the other side, the other side of the balcony sticking out too. Gotta draw the top of that balcony. Not there. It's all kind of hidden. It's all rather hidden, isn't it? So this pops out. It goes beyond this wall. So we'll just fire it in like that. Call it a day. It's gonna get lost when we draw that funky wood beam right there anyway. Boom. All right, so there's our balcony. And if we'd like, just for clarity's sake, we can erase all that which is hidden behind it. All right, we got a door, balcony, we got this window, and we got another pop-out window there. So, taking some cues. I'm gonna say it's centered. Well, that's great. We already got our vertical center line, but horizontally, I'd say it's pretty centered. Like if you go third, 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 if you divide that up into thirds, do we have some convenient measurement? What is that? 72? Uh-oh. Math skills to the test. 72 divided by 3 is, wait, 75 divided by 3 is 15. So, wait, 14? No. 28. That can't be. All right, this is the cool part, is I get to pause and use a calculator and not look like a dum-dum. Not look like a dum-dum. I'm pretending I can do basic arithmetic. 72 divided by 3 equals 24. That's what I said. All right, so if that's about 72, then we got about 24, give or take. Boop. And give me another 24. Boop. Do. Now, go there. And we're going to continue. We're going to mirror this horizontal. Wait, did I measure that right? Yeah, I did. All right. That angle, goes about here. All right, so we've defined the extremes of this shape. I'm thinking mine looks a little big. A little big. I think we're gonna, well, that is the top. We'll call that the top of the roof. Top of the roof. All right, it projects out, and it's an angle. This was a nice square box. This one, we can start it like a box and then add wings to it. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that. Well, we just trace whatever shape it is we want. We'll just draw it here and then project it out. So this is a little hard to see, but this comes out straight. This wall comes out straight, but then the roof slopes up. All roofs have to slope so that Gets the rain away from the building. Don't want a leaky old medieval house, do we? All right, so we'll say that's where the wall is. And this shape pretty much mirrors the roof. So we'll go like yay. And like yay. How's that? Does that look right? Pretty good. That won't really show, but it probably should be out like that. All right. Actually, no. Not really. We're just gonna call it that area. As you'll see, it's gonna be blocked. All right. Take that line, send it out this way, out that way. How far does it go? We can see this edge. We've got our line for the wall is here, and it's just ducking behind that window. So that window pops out just a little farther. Just a wee bit farther than our roof. We're just going to call it like so. And this one, we're going to mirror this shape and bring it out here. That line goes like this. This line goes like that on the bottom and like that on top. So, and the roof on top goes up here. It goes, slants. Oh, I'm starting to freestyle here. Made it a little too slopey looking at our reference. So it really kind of goes like that. Okay then. Here we go. We've got a lot of structure here. Let's do that roof overhang. This is a funny roof because it overhangs more at the ridge here than it does down there. But let's start with the overhang down there. So basically it goes beyond the wall. Here's the wall. It goes, I'm going to draw the far side of it. It goes to about there. And then, how much of that do we see? We're going to see, no, let's just pick how far it goes out there. Double, more than double. It actually goes 3 times as much. Well, I haven't said that yet. Let's just draw a line and see how we feel. Feel like it goes. This only sticks out about that far, and versus this one sticks out like that far. And we can do a light line, but what you'll see is there's actually kind of a scoopy curvy, and we can add our own flair to it. All right, so this corner, I'm going to steal that angle. We're going to project it over here. So the corner of the roof is going to hit about there. And again, we're just going to have to guesstimate like here. And we're going to connect that to the roof. Where did I guesstimate? Right there. Here. Now send that back because it's going to go intersect with our line. And this overhangs too a good amount. And then I'm going to say the same thing's happening on the back, probably. So how far is that? All right, we've got our construction lines for our building. Oh, this roof projects out some too. It sure does. Let's extend this. And then it connects to where that goes. I'm just winging it now. I'm just saying, yeah. Because that actually goes back. You can see it doesn't just hit that roof. It goes back that way. Do. So it's going to go back this way and hit about there. And then that's going to be my new line for there. This goes that way. And really, all of this is hidden. Hidden. More hidden than the picture. I cut off a lot more of this than they did. Maybe I came out too far with this guy. I've gone too far. But this is why construction lines are nice. Because you can kind of see what you're doing and dial it back or dial it up however you see fit. So to get this corner on that side, I'm going to project with this line, bring it over, about there. Then I'm going to head it back, and then it'll intercept that roof. Over there somewhere. Let's do a couple more. Let's just point out where that door is. Let's find the centers of these walls, just because we have so much detail. We're going to put in, we're probably going to want to know where the center is. I'm just going to draw X's in the middle so I don't have to. No, this one I'm going to draw X. Oops, is that hidden? No, I'll call it that. So here we've got two beams. They're actually supporting the pop-out window. So that means the inside corner should line up with that. And the outside corner would line up with this backside if we could see it, which was here, but we don't really see the outside. We see thickness of this column goes out there, and they stick out. Use this. This wood post sticks out like that. That wood post sticks out like that. All right, so I am doing a little of the creative stuff with the ruler, but by and large, we won't. All right. And then the front of the beam is going to be like this and like this. Well, that is way too thick. Way, hey, too thick. Stay put. Meow. Meow. And I just drew it too thick again, didn't I? That is way thicker than it needs to be. That beam is about... I didn't really need to make that center line at all, did I? It's all right, we're gonna trace back over all that, all those wooden details. This one, we do have a door, we have an arched doorway, and then we have two beams that actually come out to support this balcony. Makes sense. But this wall and this wall aren't lined up, so it doesn't really tell us. We have to offset by this much. So we take this amount and subtract it from there. It will tell us where that beam would go. Not beam, post. Beams go side to side, posts go up and down. All right, and that's gonna stick out like yay. It's gonna follow this angle, so it's gonna be like yo, and then the front of the other one is gonna line up with the front of this one. I'm gonna draw that. And it's pretty thick. It's about like this. Okay. So then that door is kind of hidden partially behind there, but we can do our own kind of door anyway. All right. Here's the center line of that curvy door. And the top of the door is about here. The thickness, the width of the door is about there. It's not vertical. Guidelines should be as true as you can make them, so they will guide you well. And the top of the door, even though it's not a square. If it was a square door, it would be like that. And it would be easier to draw, wouldn't it? But we're just going to fake in this, oops, this kind of Gothic peaked door. Actually, maybe it's a round door, but it's hidden behind this little knee brace support here. All right, well, cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. There's that wood beam. Post. Just did as a kiln. That goes there. Okay. Are we ready to get less technical and more creative? There we go. Here's our construction lines.